Conservatives are rushing to defend the 17-year-old in Kenosha, Wisconsin that shot and killed two protesters. Now, I covered the details of that story yesterday. This was a 17-year-old kid who drove from Illinois to Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, with his large rifle, ended up killing two people and seriously injuring another. And they're defending that. Now, look, I don't often cover this shit because I don't think it needs a platform. I don't think it needs to be discussed. I think ultimately giving this stuff air doesn't always help. But it is important every now and then to remind people of what exactly we're up against. The total insanity that is coming out of conservatives right now. So let's start here with Tucker Carlson, who said, quote, "How shocked are we that 17-year-olds with rifles decided they had to maintain order when no one else would? Are we really surprised that looting and arson accelerated to murder?" Now, this kid shot two people who were not looting, were not setting anything on fire. He shot and killed two protesters. The second one was trying to stop him and shot that guy and killed him in the chest, or shot him in the chest and killed him. So this is, again, complete bullshit, as of course it always is. But to show you how far their BS goes, look at what Tucker Carlson said back in June. Quote, "Violent young men with guns will be in charge. They will make the rules, including the rules in your neighborhood. They will do what they want. You will do what they say. No one will stop them. You will not want to live here when that happens." Now, is he talking about the white teen and the white militia that was occupying Kenosha there and walking around with their guns, with their rifles and shooting people? No, he's talking about Black Lives Matter. So he'll fearmonger about Black Lives Matter protesters having guns, but when an actual white terrorist has a gun, oh, whatever, no big deal. No big deal. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? The hypocrisy and the amount of bullshit is just completely out in the open. There's no hiding it. I also want to give credit here to Matthew Gertz of Media Matters for making this comparison on Twitter and posting these two headlines together, because it shows you exactly the emptiness that is Tucker Carlson. Let me go to the next reaction here from a conservative. This dipshit says, "People have every right to protect private property while armed." What private property? This kid was from out of state. Moving on. If you attack armed men because you're mad that they're stopping you from lighting buildings on fire, and then you get shot in the process, it's 1,000% your own fault. I shouldn't need to explain this. Again, this kid was from out of state, was not protecting private property, killed two people, and even if you want to pretend that he was protecting private property, you're saying that it's perfectly okay to murder somebody over arson or over looting? That's completely insane. It is not the job of any militia force to murder people. Yet, they're perfectly fine with this. If it was the other way around, if it was completely reversed, you know it would be a completely opposite response here. But no, they're perfectly fine. I mean, as you see here, it's a completely opposite response depending on who's the victim and who's the perpetrator. They just switch what the reactions are depending on that. This one was deleted. I'm showing you this because I'm showing you that it was a real tweet, and I figured it might be deleted or taken down by Twitter. So I guess this violated Twitter rules because it was Ann Coulter. You can see here, I took this screenshot in the morning. Ann Coulter saying in response to the shooter's name here, someone saying, "I want him as my bodyguard." Ann Coulter replied saying, "I want him as my president." Now, this is somebody who is just a pure right-wing troll. So honestly, I wouldn't even get all that mad about this. This is somebody who wants attention. I'm just showing you this to be able to, so you understand that all of this is for show, that all these people care about is attention. They are sociopaths, and that's exactly what this is right here. Andy No, another grifter here, tweets out, Anthony Huber, 26, was shot and killed in Kenosha, Wisconsin at the Black Lives Matter riot, he calls it. He was filmed chasing down the armed teen and hitting him when he was on the ground with a skateboard. Oh, what's amazing about this? Let me just finish the tweet. He has a criminal history that includes charges of battery and repeat domestic abuse. What's amazing about this is him trying to compare, like, oh, he was being hit with a skateboard. He had to be shot. I mean, of course, you can't hit people with skateboards after murdering somebody. After this guy murders somebody, don't hit a murderer with a skateboard. No, very, very wrong of you. The kid here ends up shooting this guy and killing him. And here Andy No is on the side of the shooter because this man had a dangerous skateboard. Do you see why I don't cover this shit? It's obvious. These people are completely insane. It shouldn't need to be. This shouldn't need to be explained to anybody. On its face, it is obvious this is insane. He is defending the guy with the gun that killed 2 people and attacking the guy with the skateboard who got murdered. Now, here's some good tweets. Just to break it up a little bit here. Matt Binder tweeted out, conservatives, if there is a shooter, everyone must tackle him as a form of self-defense. Conservatives, upon finding the shooter is a Blue Lives Matter Trump supporter, as that shooter in Wisconsin is, if a bunch of people tackle you, shooting them is self-defense. So again, showing you how their argument, and this is exactly right, how their argument changes depending on the situation. Oh, if there's a shooter, well, guns are fine. Everyone, it's okay if you have a gun. Background checks, who cares? If there's a shooter, all you got to do is tackle them. Just, tackle them. It's self-defense. Make sure you deal with the situation by stopping them. But when it's a Blue Lives Matter person and, they're hit with a skateboard, oh, nope, not self-defense. In fact, this is the guy with the skateboard is the perpetrator here, and the guy with the gun who killed 2 people, he's the victim. They do this shit all the time. Steven Crowder tweets out here, I support people protecting their home, businesses, families, and person with their legally owned firearms. No apologies. So again, this shooter was not protecting their home, business, or family. And yeah, I guess he was protecting himself after he had already murdered somebody. And somebody else was trying to stop him. Would these people defend a murderer when the cops go after somebody and the guy shoots the cops because he's being hit with a baton? Oh, well, self-defense. I mean, sure, the guy just murdered somebody, but the cop was hitting him with a baton, so he had to shoot the cop. Self-defense. Of course not, because that's fucking insane. But they'll do it here. One last tweet to end on a positive note. Great tweet here by Hassan. Says, quote, a good guy with a gun is just a conservative shooting at black people and whoever the right calls communist or Antifa. In every other instance, like people attempting to disarm a shooter with non-lethal methods, the good guy is still the shooter as long as he's conservative. So, in case you're ever confused by the conservative arguments because of the how thick their hypocrisy is, all you got to do, reference this tweet and it'll help you better understand their mindset. So this is the world right now. And all of this stuff has increased dramatically under Donald Trump. There has been a massive increase in hate crimes over the last 4 years. Those hate crimes, of course, stemming from right-wing terrorism.